I'm from Black America, it's just another year. You knew the disrespect by your elected puppeteers, but let me show you.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy, J.D. Costa.
It is your girl, Catman.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. We back, baby. It is June 13th, 1 week before Father's Day. Shout out to all the fathers out there. Anybody buy their Father's Day cards yet? Or y'all waiting until the Friday before? Most of the people are probably waiting like the day before. Y'all ain't picked out them that ugly pair of socks and suspenders yet? A little $25 gift card. Y'all know y'all ain't gonna get. They only get like a fraction of what mama get. Y'all don't gotta do much. The bar kind of low, you know. Just saying. If you don't know who we're listening to, this is Steve Lacy off his The Lo-Fi's album. Came out last year. The song is Jars of It. Pretty dope. I like different stuff, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I'm kind of eclectic with the music taste. Hey. Kathy, you see how you look right now? You look like extra plain. You just like staring out to the. Hold on, let me see how you look on this other angle, just staring like that. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Slim. Time to look alive, baby. Yeah. So anyway, that was Steve Lacy. So let's get into the show, y'all. Let's get into it. Some current news. Actually, happy to be back. You know what I'm saying? Every day above ground, it's a good day, right? So we blessed to be here. We are blessed to be here. Business sponsor of the day. Shout out to Church Road Smokehouse. Paul Thompson and Church Road Smokehouse today. You can find them at Church Road Smokehouse. They barbecuing it up every weekend, y'all. Like I said, Father's Day is coming. Maybe y'all want to give y'all main chef, the main grill master a day off. Hey, holler at Paul Thompson and the folks over there at Church Road Smokehouse, man. Let them throw you a rack of ribs, some pulled pork, some pulled chicken, some pulled turkey. They do all of it. You just got to get your order in early because if you don't, they will sell out. I tell you that. Hot stuff if you're in the DMV area. Also, some current news. This is just for the fanboy in me. Half of y'all ain't gonna get it, but I'm a nerd and I like Marvel. But shout out to the Loki series being out on Disney Plus. If you like, the Marvel shows and what they've been doing over there and the storylines, Loki's pretty dope. That's on Disney Plus right now. First episode I think aired Wednesday. Check that out. Also, in some as far as dealing with like some health concerns and things of that nature. So there's rumors. Couldn't find an exact article to prove anything or disprove anything, but there's rumors that the Pfizer and the Moderna COVID-19 vaccines are possibly causing heart trouble. Oh, but got a lot of people saying, "Oh my God!" Saying, "Oh my God!" So, hey, you gotta be safe out there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be safe out there. The main thing is, you want to still wash your hands. You want to still socially distance. I think social distance to a degree is something that we should have been doing all the way long. Because I was one of those people, I get aggravated when somebody's just too close to me in the line. So it ain't that sense to be right up on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's whole grocery store, whole department store. Back up. Like, you don't got to be right up on me. So I think social distance is just, it's good manners, if anything. That's how I feel. So that, and then also, got to shout out the ladies. You're going to like this one. Clarissa Shields and Simone Biles dominating their sports. I mean, Clarissa Shields beat the brakes off that woman. I mean, handed it to her real good. And Simone Biles, the GOAT. I mean, I don't know, did you see her leotard? She had like a little, she's allowed to say it.
She's won 7 titles.
Yeah, I mean, that's big. That's huge.
She's the only one that's won.
I think in history has ever done it. Then on top of that, I mean, both of them referred to themselves as the GOAT, but they got the right to. I mean, they got the right. They got all the bragging rights. So let's hear it for those lady goats out there. Let me drop a bomb for them. You know what I'm saying? Because
is that what we want to call them, lady goats?
I mean, they goats. They just goats in their own right.
Simone was doing it.
Yeah, Simone and Clarissa.
So when LeBron said he was the GOAT, what was that? Do you agree with him? Or do you think he?
Yeah, I mean, it can be challenged. I mean, you could talk about Bill Russell. You could talk about Magic Johnson. You could talk about Jordan.
His isn't unanimous, whereas Simone's is unanimous.
Oh yeah, it's no question. You know what I'm saying? It's not up for debate with these young ladies if they're goats or not. Same thing with I feel like Venus in her sport, in tennis. And I'm not talking about just women. I'm talking about men and women.
Venus?
I mean, sorry, Serena.
Oh, okay.
I mean, there ain't too many people messing with her. You know what I'm saying? So, that's just how I feel. So anyways, today, we get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to get down to it early. Today, we're going to break down if people really talk it like they walk it, right? We're going to talk about decision making. We're going to talk about making sure, this is something that I hear at work all the time, making sure that the audio matches the video, right? If you advertising one thing, you saying one thing, are the choices you're making in life, are your decisions living up to what you claim you are or what you claim you're about? So we're gonna talk about it. Before we get into it, let me hear from Miss Katniss. How do you feel about the subject in general?
I think everybody should live the things that they say they are doing. Like we said last week, live your truth. I think that if you're going to claim something, you should be about it. But I also think that social media creates the environment for people to lie about stuff. Mm-hmm. And I think that is not a good practice to have.
Yeah. I mean, embellish, hyperbolize, whatever term you want to use. There's a lot of people. They'll say one thing, they do another. First thing I want to bring up, I know this is a big deal to you. If you make a promise, do it. There are so many promise breakers out there, right? If we could just address them first. If you just joined us, we're talking about making sure you walk it like you talk it. Say what you mean what you say. But, yeah, people that make promises and don't come through. And there's a lot of that lately. Like people say, oh yeah, man, I got you. Oh, I'm going to be there. You don't get a call. You don't get a text. Nothing. And they don't do it. And I just don't know why people don't keep their word anymore. Somebody wake Cat up! I need some help. Somebody help me on the couch, please. Please. Cat, where you at, baby? You here?
I'm here, but you're saying I don't know why, and the reality is I don't know either. I can't account. No, but what I'm saying is I can't account. You talking about waking up? What you always said, you can't account for people who act stupid. We don't know why they do the things they do.
That's true.
I don't know. You mad about my answer if that's the truth.
I just want you to be a little bit more lively.
I don't.
Just kind of sleep over here.
No, I'm not asleep. I'm being myself. I don't know why people are not truthful. I think it's character and personality. However, I'm not sure what type of environmental factors dictate someone's personality or character. Like, I guess what I'm saying is if your parents created emphasis on morals and values, one would assume that someone would have morals and values, but that doesn't guarantee it. Like, morals and values comes down to personal decisions.
Yeah, that's true.
So.
I think also part of it too is, I think a lot of it has to do with raising. And I don't know where the breakdown was because it felt like in our grandparents' generation, you had to honor your word. Like everybody was big on honor. Mm-hmm. Everybody was big on respect. Everybody was big on you being a man of your word. A man of your word was like a thing. You know what I'm saying? A woman of your word was a thing. And I think these days, we just don't have that. It's like, everything it's crazy with all the technology we have, especially when it comes to communication. People are less likely, I feel now, to communicate things or to make sure that folks have understanding of things. We have every means available to you. We got Zoom, we have iPads, we got cell phones, we have computers, we have all this technology. Even in front of us, like we got all this technology, and it's like people can't communicate simple things. Yo, what's up, Fred? I see you, Kenny Williams in the building. Drop a bomb for that, brother. Ohio!
And Chris.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah, Chris McKinney, too. Oh, let me drop a bomb for these brothers, smart men in the building. If you're just joining us, we're talking about walking like you're talking, and we're done with the first line of this conversation. If you make a promise, do it. We need to make promises a real thing, and keeping them a real thing. We need to hold people accountable. I think accountability is something that I feel like society is lacking these days. And I just don't know where we got away from that.
Well, right now we're in a season of being oversensitive, and because we're oversensitive, that is going to naturally impact accountability. Because right now we're trying. Because right now we're trying to accommodate everybody's feelings. It's like everybody is sensitive. You have to be sensitive to everything, and because of that, that means there's no accountability.
Yeah, and then at the same time, even with all of that, it's kind of like, how does that translate to people not keeping promises? They say, oh yeah, I'm gonna have something such to you to by a certain date, and then they don't do it, and it's like, come on, like that's your word. You gotta live by your word. Another one, and I think a lot of us see this in the workplace, and things we're trying to do. If you make a goal, work towards it. I mean, I just don't understand. We live in a society now where somebody will say loosely, I want to be a millionaire, and don't have no job to the first, no business plan, haven't taken the business plan to a lawyer or nothing. But it's like, okay, well, how are you going to be a millionaire? You're not in an industry. You're not saving your money. Every dime you get, you throw it back out the window. How are you going to become a millionaire, right? So it's one of these things where it's like, we don't want the accountability, right? We make promises that we're too quickly willing to break. But then on top of that, we make goals that we're not willing to do the work for. It's like everybody wants something handed to them. Mamie said over here on shout out Clarksville, Tennessee in the building. Mamie said being a man and a woman of your word is very important, and it is. It's very telling about various aspects of your life. Shout out to Kenny. Shout out Ohio. He said accountability is huge. In order to have accountability, we must know how to use our words and must be able to have hard conversations.
I agree with that.
I like that. And you know what, Kenny? I will also say further, not only you have to have, even when dealing with other people, you have to have hard conversations, but you have to have harsh wake-up calls for yourself, looking at the person in the mirror. You have to honestly say to yourself, like, if you made any goal, whether it's weight loss or financial or a hobby that you want to get better at, you have to be able to look at the man or the woman in the mirror and say, you know what? I didn't put my best foot forward today. I know I was bullcrapping today. Don't lie to yourself. That's right, brother. You said exactly. Like, you have to be able to, like, be real about where you are. A lot of people don't realize that the first step to faith, the first step to AA, NA, you have to recognize first where you are. That's why in AA they say, I am an alcoholic. They start off by saying, I'm an alcoholic. You have to understand you have a problem with alcohol. In Narcotics Anonymous, you have to first understand, I have a problem with narcotics. You have to, in order to come to God, you have to first realize there is a God, and I have separation from Him, whatever that faith is, and I realize there's a chasm between me and the man that I want to be. So whatever it is you do in life, you got to be real with yourself. If you're going to make a goal, you got to work towards it. This one right here is when it gets a little dicey. If you claim to be something, you got to be it. And I mean, like, some folks are probably like, either that went over your head or it went under your head, one or the other. For instance, I think people don't realize that certain levels of professionalism, there's a higher call to it, right? For instance, some of us here go to church. Shout out to all my church goers out there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to all my church goers. Everybody who was at church today, whether it was virtual or actually in attendance. You want your pastor to look, even dress, speak. There's a certain way you expect that man to act because of who he is. If you're a doctor, if you're a lawyer, if you're a politician, there's a certain way that even society expects you to act. And if you're going to take on those jobs, if you're going to take on these callings, you have to act according to what you claim you are, right? So if you're going to be a business professional, if you're going to assume these high calling types of professions in life, if you're going to be a mentor, we just talked about OGs a few weeks ago, there's a certain way you have to live. And there's a certain things you can't do. I get it. All the rappers got the tattoos on their face. They got the different color hair. They got the grills. But at some point, you have to push yourself to assume a higher calling. You have to look the part of what it is you say you are. And I just don't understand. Everybody wants to get on IG and prophesize, say they're an entrepreneur, but their lifestyle doesn't match what they claim they are. Like I said earlier, the audio doesn't match the video. We got some good comments here from Facebook and IG. Let me go back to the bruh first. Kenny said, facing hard truths about yourself will prevent you from being accountable for yourself and others. I like that. Facing hard truths about yourself will prevent you from being accountable for yourself and others. That's true. Shout out to Fred in the building, Pastor Frederick Scott, or Reverend Minister. Sorry, more so minister, right? Let me not throw you into the pulpit as a full-time pastor just yet. But Frederick said, character breeds reputation. It's okay to change your mind, but it must be communicated. I like that. He said, if you back out of things you say consistently, your reputation is that you're going to be a person that you're not of your word. And that's true. And I think people don't realize how damaging that is, because there's going to come a time, right? You're going to need a job favor. You're going to need somebody to work on a resume. You're going to need to get somewhere. And if you're flaky, if you're not accountable, how am I going to reference you for a job? You can't even call me back. So you're not going to call an interviewer back. You're not going to call somebody back. You're not going to ruin my... I worked long and hard, super hard, I would say, especially over the last 10 years. I'm not going to let somebody mess that up in one phone call. And we see it all the time. I know you see it in your profession. People that can't keep their word. Folks that don't communicate.
Well, I mean, I think that communication skills is definitely lacking in our generation. It's because everything is so convenient and easy. You know, versus having a conversation on the phone or meeting face to face and having tough conversations. People like to send little memes, and people like to send little pictures and emojis and DM each other and use different profiles or tweet, subliminal tweets. But I think even if you want to sustain a relationship, you got to get in the habit of speaking to somebody face to face. Like, I don't even believe in text messages for hard conversations, because you're missing the context, you're missing the visual context clues of how the person is reacting, if their voice is being in flux. These are things that are going to give you what you need to know how to read a person accurately. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why a lot of people get into these relationships from, making profiles or fake friendships, whatever you want to call them, and they're like, oh, that person ended up being not who they claimed to be, and it's because you didn't have enough time with the individual one-on-one, face-to-face. All you had was like an avatar or an online experience with them. Yeah,
I mean, you basically you get caught into the person's avatar, if you will. But once again, all those pictures on their IG, their Facebook, whatever social media they're using, Black Planet, if you're still on it, MySpace, it doesn't add up to who you say you are.
Black Planet don't exist.
Mamie said, my pastor truly represents himself as a man of God, and is in speaking if his behavior, his walk matching what he teaches from the Bible, and that's good. I think that's important from a man of God. But I like that what you said about the social media, right? Because so often people will they'll put out, I'm in a happy marriage. I'm balling. You get what I'm saying? Like, you'll see people with BMWs in the background. And it's like, so you assume, well, if there's a BMW in your picture, you can afford it. Or you own it. Because some people be in front of friends' cars, right?
Or they travel for a whole month.
Yeah. Or, it's like, they be posting pictures, and it's one thing to say, oh, I missed XYZ vacation. But it's another thing when a whole month later, you're acting like you're still there. And, no, because it's a real thing. And I know people are going to come back and watch this later and be like, hey, is he talking about me? Yes, I am. If it's you, if the shoe fits, wear it. Okay? But yeah, if you have these cars, you got Porsches, you got all kind of luxury items that you rocking, but then once again you asking me for $25, the audio doesn't match the video, and you need to get it in alignment. Or at least don't try to portray you something that you're not. And I think this is important. I know this conversation seems almost repetitive because it's like, man, y'all been really hammering into the nitty gritty. But this is what we're seeing a lot. And people are starting to base critical decisions off the look of the thing and choosing whole word professions based off how something seems to be. Mm-hmm. And they're thinking they can make it as long as people assume they're there. And I get the whole term fake it till you make it. And there's a time and place for that. But when you're basically lying about your life, you're claiming you're a professional, but you hood. And this is part of, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent with this. This is part of the thing that I have, and I was just talking about this with you earlier. I know you get tired of me bringing it up. But this is part of the reason I have with reality TV, right? Every time a new reality show comes out, they try to act like, oh, this one's going to be the one that's better, right? Love in Huntsville came out. I remember when that came out, right? And I'm calling the show out.
And season 1 was better.
See, and look, and this is how they hook. This is how they hook, especially our black women, especially because it's a proven fact. Black women are some of the largest consumers of media. So, how they hook you is when the show first comes out. Love in Huntsville. They seemed like they were all these great couples. They were in real estate, right? They had these great loving marriages. You know, people was quick to post, you know, couples goals. I think some of these folks are millionaires, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, millionaires. We love like, oh man, they a millionaire, they entrepreneur, they their own boss, yada yada yada, right? So everybody was looking at that like, oh, they got these kids and stuff. They got these great marriages. So you're looking at what they're putting on, and everybody wants to be like, what's his name, Marcel? Which one is the one that was in? They divorced now.
Marcel's the one, or you, Martell?
Martell, that's the one, right? Martell and Melody. Everybody wanted to be Martell and Melody when that first season came out, right? Because that was couple goals. They looked like they had it going on. The video they put out.
They did have it going on.
Well, no, not really. Because then when you start peeling back the curtain, you start realizing, oh, there was all this infidelity and whole side chicks and everything going on before y'all even hit the air.
But they still had it going on financially.
I mean, but we already know finances and everything. And then even the businesses are up in there now based off that one clip of a show you was watching the other day. She's trying to say the business is in her name. And
well, the point being is, yes, they had infidelity, but it's kind of like you have to compartmentalize. So it's like, you know how women will be like, oh, your father was a terrible spouse to me. He was a terrible husband. So what I'm saying is there are some people in life, it doesn't excuse their behavior, but when you compartmentalize, there are some people who are better parents than they are spouses. And there are people who are better spouses than they are parents. Mm-hmm. In their case, he obviously was a poor spouse, but you can't take away he had it going on. He was a good businessman.
Yeah, that's true.
And he's a good father.
But you know what happens when people
I'll give him that, he's a good father.
Yeah, I mean, based off what you tell me and everything, and I think from the few little clips I've seen, he does seem like to be an engaged father. And actually, it's a proven stat that men of color are typically more engaged fathers than the other counterparts in American society, right?
So I'm just saying that because I don't want someone's obviously large mistake that the whole world is seeing and judging to be and it's probably going to be the focal point, but to be the standard by which we measure him. He's obviously a absolutely horrid spouse. But from what I can see, I don't know him personally. He seems like he's a good father. He seems like he has some business savvy. Again, it doesn't excuse his behavior, but if at the very least he's able to do right by his kids, I want to at least be able to give that man that than to tear him down like everybody is on social media currently.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. It's one of these things, like, once again, the danger of the whole reality TV thing is they'll hook you in the first season. The first season, everybody will be professional. It'll be about the money. But then the end result of what we start seeing, right, is it doesn't seem to add up. Now, the assumption is a doctor, and I understand doctors are people. I get it. But you're talking about LinkedIn level professions. So you assume that when you meet a doctor or a well thought of professor or a lawyer, there's a certain way that they behave, even behind closed doors.
Agreed.
But then when you watch Married to Medicine, they kirking off on each other no different than the girls in Love and Hip Hop.
Because that's what's required for reality TV.
And I understand that.
The ratings, unfortunately.
So, but once again, that's entertainment. Mm-hmm. Their job is to entertain you. If they have the one was on, what's the one, the girls in LA? It's primarily like a white cast. What's the name of that show? And there's only one black girl.
Oh, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
All right, that one is not. They don't rate that well. But then again, they're not as salacious, mm-hmm. right? So then what happens is everyday black girls though, and everyday black guys, you're no different. Because I hear some of these conversations brothers be having, because they wanna They want to have all kind of locks and do whatever, and I'm as pro-black as they come. But let's be honest, you look across the Fortune 500, and you look at them CEOs, and you look at the C-suite, and you look at the board of directors, and if you're lucky enough to have a black man that's there, he don't got locks. And if you look at the white men who are present, to be fair, they're not running around with mullets either. They have all of them, black, white, Spanish, whatever the case is, they all have a certain type of clean-cut look about their heads. They're finally allowing beards in the mix, right? But when you want to be something, there's a certain way that you carry yourself if you're going to be that. And y'all can't be Jay-Z because keep in mind, Jay-Z first is an entertainer. Yes, he's a CEO. Yes, he's a businessman. That is undeniable. But Jay-Z got to he opened a lot of those doors via entertainment. So there's a certain way he gets to move that the rest of you don't. And young ladies, when y'all see these housewives and everything carrying on, y'all got to remember that that's a form of entertainment. So they get to act and move a certain kind of way. The everyday woman who's a doctor, working for Children's or Vanderbilt or Duke or whatever hospital that's local to you, Kaiser Permanente, whatever, guess what? You can't be online throwing drinks in a girl's face. That could affect your job. These people get to continue to practice medicine, but from what I understand, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of the people in married to medicine have private practice, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like how you can move when you own something.
Eugene works for the hospital, but Jackie and Simone and Heavenly, Damon and yeah, I would say 85-90% of them do have their own practice. Yeah.
And
that's
so that gives you a little bit of flexibility to move a certain way. But yeah, folks, and we're talking about this because we want you to have these conversations at your homes. You need to be having these conversations with your aunts, your uncles, your parents, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your frat brothers, your sorority sisters, your friends, your 50 grands and them, whoever they are, right? We need to start having these real conversations about, hey, look, I get it. Because everybody likes to reference a celebrity these days. Every time somebody do so, most of these conversations we're having, someone's referencing a celebrity or some type of famous person or some type of, influencer as to why they're living the way they are. And it's so far removed from reality, and we have to stop this. We really do. Because it's getting to the point that people are breaking their own their own brand. You're claiming to be something, but you're not living up to it. And in the real world, the one that's not recorded and televised, that don't work. You get fired for that. If you claim you could do a job and you don't do it, you get fired. If a client buys something and you don't deliver by a certain time, whole companies have lost $1 million, billion-dollar contracts because they can't fulfill deliverables. Am I lying? You know something about it. I won't mention where, but you understand the business. You don't meet a deliverable. Not only does one person get fired, a whole contract is lost. A whole contract could be what? Upwards 200 people sometimes, right? This is what happens in the real world when you don't handle your business. When your audio doesn't match your video. Money is involved. Families could be destroyed. Because you lose a good paying job. And it's hard to find another job equivalent of.
So I want to stay here, but also switch gears a little bit in that something that I find frustrating is it appears it is very hard to break into the entertainment industry, whether it's acting, singing, dancing, producing. So I think for common folks, when we pay good money for a singer and they come out on stage and it's like they're half giving effort, it's disappointing to us because in our mind, we pay good money for you to bring your A game, and most people, well, I don't want to say most people, but a lot of people wish they could be in that position. And for a celebrity to take money and like blow it off and you can tell not rehearse, don't know the words, don't be on stage one time like Lauryn Hill. That is very disheartening because it's like people who sing and work. People who sing and work, it's like, dang, I wish I could get the opportunity to rehearse and give a performance. What do you think about that? Do you think that celebrities get comfortable? Yeah, and once again, in their health, and here's the thing, folks. The real world is the real world. You can't escape universal laws. And if you're a celebrity, right,
and you're being paid to do a job, and you put up this facade of being, ooh, I'm this talent, and I'm this entertainer, and what you're telling me and what the flyer is saying is that you're going to give me a good show. You're going to be funny. You're going to sing on key. You're going to play your instrument well. You're going to dance. And then when I get there and you halfway do that, that's a problem, right? Because you told me what was part of the contract, me buying into you, was that you were going to perform as advertised. When I see you on BET, VH1, MTV, YouTube, wherever you're putting your stuff, IG, you sound like you singing on key. You sound like you know how to do this stuff. But then I see you in person, and it's like, what am I listening to? That's a cat scratching the board. When I listen to your record, you sound like this. But you're not even living up to the hype.
Well, many people in the industry, from what I hear, don't like to rehearse. They feel like, oh, I'm talented. That's enough to ride the wave. And in that industry, my understanding, like let's take Beyonce for example. It don't matter how talented you are, you gotta work.
No, you gotta work.
You gotta rehearse. You gotta perfect. You have to. You can't just be a fly by night and say, oh, I just know how to sing. That ain't gonna sustain no show. Mm-mm. Especially if you go to different cities.
Yeah, and here's the thing. If you're going to do anything in life, you have to put the work in. You want to ball out. You want to own a house. You want to have kids. You want to date. I'll pause on dating and marriage for all my single ladies out there and single men. But, you know, ladies probably more so because men control relationships. So typically men, when they do want to settle down, they actually have an easier time of it. But there's some brothers that struggle, so that's why it applies to you too.
Why are you struggling?
Well, first of all, that's the good question. Why are they struggling to get married? Why are you struggling to get somebody to commit, right? It's because the way you're moving, right? There's something about you. You are the common denominator behind all your failed relationships or attempts. So if the guys you like aren't approachable or aren't approaching you, or the girls you're approaching aren't reciprocating, you have to then look in the mirror and say, okay, well, what am I doing wrong, right? Maybe the audio doesn't match the video. For instance, you're trying to holler at these certain types of women, right? And if you're not financially secure, you're talking a good game at dinner because you're trying to do it. You're saying everything and everything, selling all kind of dreams because that night you're hoping to get some draws, right? That's what dudes. Some dudes be on that, right? There's a term for them. I won't say what it is. Well, I can say F-boys, right? Because that's what they call them these days, right?
They call them.
And they saying whatever they can to get your draws. They acting like they got XYZ car. They acting like they got whatever kind of watch, right? And then you get back to their house and it don't add up. Yo, shout out Cleveland in the building. Jason, I see you. Then you get back to their house. Once again, they got a mattress on the floor. You know what I'm saying? They act like they big time this, big time that. Then coming to find out, and don't get me wrong, guys, a job's a job. But then you come to find out they a janitor at the local school.
No, but these things matter though because I'll tell y'all. So in my previous relationships, I was dating somebody.
Yeah, talk about that.
And they picked me up from the airport. And when he picked me up from the airport, he was driving this BMW. So mind you, I met him. He was waiting tables. Like he was a host. Yeah, waiter. There we go. Yeah. So I'm like, oh wow, he got a BMW. Like, oh, this is dope. Like, and we pull up to this really nice apartment. I'm like, oh, okay. But then I'm like, wait, so you don't live in one of the bedrooms? Oh no, I only live up in the loft. I'm like, okay, that's different. So come to find out, it wasn't even his vehicle. It was his roommate's vehicle. But and I'm not saying that bothered me. 'Cause I'm not shallow. But what I am saying is that, and I didn't know that until like maybe days after the fact or like a week after the fact. And so the impression was that he was balling more than what he was. And then come to find out, like, no, he wasn't balling at all. Like, he actually was really struggling. So I say all of this to say,
wow, that's funny.
I feel as though if you are a dude, it's in your best interest to leave with what you got. And if that girl don't want you because you're not making the kind of money that she thinks that she deserves, you don't want to be with that kind of character anyway, because you should want somebody that's going to grind it out with you anyway. So that's that.
Yeah, get somebody who can appreciate you at the level you're on. And if you're not there, don't put up the front because when they dish you later, that's not on you. And Lana, I like that comment. You said that's not honest. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Like,
but let me. I'm throwing this out here. Do you think that people should tell people they have kids up front?
Yeah, I think it should come up early in the relationship. I do.
Well, you didn't tell me.
Yeah, I told you though.
But you didn't tell me.
I think it was like 2 months in.
Do you guys hear him? Juan waited 2 whole months. We talking about a full 60 days before this man told me he has children, plural, more than one. I remember.
But matter of fact, we're just still dating. It's not like we were together.
Right, but
there's people out there together with somebody right now that don't know that person.
Right, but I remember literally talking to Juan, running my mouth like, yeah, I really can't do children like that from people. I'm thinking at this stage in my life, maybe 1 kid, but anything more than 1.
And that's
like,
when I told you, because
like
you made that comment. And I was like, oh,
and Juan was like,
talking about
well,
kids.
actually, and I remember literally coughing my water up like, what? You have how many children?
Yeah.
When were you going to say this? Like,
I feel like that was an opportune time. Once you was talking about kids, it was like, hey, let's make this clear. If this is a deal breaker, here, listen.
And this is the reason why this is the reason why I think it's twofold. I think you should lead with what is true, but I also think that when you're dating, you got to ask clarifying questions. I can take responsibility in that I never asked him if he had children. I never asked. I just assumed I didn't see him having an issue linking up with me at different times, so I assumed he didn't have kids. But I think that it's funny because people do.
But you was on my social media, and my kids is all over my social media.
No, at the time we were not Instagram friends. At the time we were just Facebook, and I didn't go through like.
I was about to say, all you had to do was go through my pictures. They littered through there. You know what I'm saying?
Know.
Yeah.
So no, Lana said, nah, I need to know at date 2. That's 14 days later. My aunt said you need to be around someone long enough for the meds to wear off and money to run out. I know that's true. I'm just saying, I think that when it comes to dating, you gotta ask tough questions, because we found out from people who are dating, they get mad like, oh yeah, come to find out he had a gambling problem or he lived with his grandmother. And it's like, how long were you dating him? Oh, for like 5 months. And it's like,
yeah, I just want to see how you with somebody.
It didn't come up. Like, well, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I feel like if you're doing surface stuff, it's not going to come up.
And here's the thing too. I think at some point you gotta do your research. Now, do you have to run a background check on somebody? Nah, but
you can.
Once again, if you're seriously like somebody, you should look through their social media to see if the audio. If they're saying XYZ, oh, I was in the military. You don't see that nan military picture. You say kids, and let me bring up something with these kids too. Because I've seen guys that do this. You look on their social media, and actually, let me talk to guys, period. Because I see more men doing this than women. Women, if they got kids, I don't really see too many women ever hide the fact they have kids. I normally don't see women hiding if they're in relationships on social media. Typically,
men will definitely hide.
I'm not saying that there haven't been women that done it, but let's be honest, y'all. We don't see too many women hiding their relationship statuses or if they got kids. This is more of a man problem.
I said what I said.
Right? Now, brothers, if you have children or if you're in a relationship, I should be able to go to your social media and after a few pictures, I should be able to see the resemblance of a relationship and kids. I shouldn't see nothing but selfies. And there's some brothers out there living like that. You look at their social media, you look at their IG. If you're dating somebody right now, let me hit the other view. Let me see if I can get y'all to look me more squarely in the face. If you're dating somebody right now, you need to go look at their social media, right? Y'all been together for 2 years, 4 years, some of y'all almost 10 years. If that man don't got no posting of you, especially you been together, like I can understand within the first few months, but y'all been together that long, people need to know upon looking at said page, they're in a relationship with you. If I don't look at the page and see that, that's a problem. That brother trying to stay on the market. Alright?
What do you think about...
Put that out there real quick.
What do you think about when we got engaged and people were like, there were more than one commenter that said they had no idea I was dating somebody?
Yeah, but I mean, all they had to do was pay attention to your stories and stuff like that. They would have seen you. They would have seen me on there. I mean, it was there. I mean, it was nothing being hid. Like
I know. I just thought it was funny when people were like, I didn't know you were in a
I think that just means people were.
What? We've been for like 3 years.
I mean, they couldn't have been tuned in. And then hello, y'all. Like we did the Nitty Gritty show together. Like I was right here next to her like the whole time. I mean, we were talking about relationships and stuff on the show. I mean, it wasn't too hard to miss.
People say they didn't know. They said they had no idea that I was in a relationship.
I mean, it was there. I mean, if you looked for it.
I mean, I wasn't
at any given time
every day because I mean
that's a little obnoxious. I mean,
and I also feel like I don't know about y'all, but I'm also the kind of person where I wasn't about to post my man like all over my social media and then we break up and I gotta go and delete all these pictures. So it was like I'm going to post him once he makes it official. From the time that he proposed to me, he was all up on the social media.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? But there's some people out there in these long-term relationships and it's not matching up. And I wonder, and this is kind of like on dating and relationships once again, if you're a man in a relationship, if you're a woman in a relationship, and if you're claiming to be monogamous at least, that should be represented in how you move. Men, once again, because this is definitely a man thing on this conversation, right? Especially older men. If you're married, why do you have the most wandering eyes at the church, in the frat, in the groups that you socialize with, at the barbershop? You always that brother that got to be talking about booty. That's an issue, especially when you got one of these on your hand. You shouldn't be the first person to want to bring up your past excursions and lifestyle if you're a married man. Alright? That shouldn't be your conversation should always be on how to raise some kids and get their butt up out the house, how to get some money, you know what I'm saying? How to invest something, how to stay married. Even if it's gotta be a joke like, hey brother, you might want to think twice before you get married, because marriage ain't no joke, man. I've been with the same ball and chain for 25 years. Even if you won't be that guy, at least be that guy. You get what I'm saying? But don't be the guy out here talking about, yeah, man, that way, man, there's some beautiful girls up there, boy, I tell you. Uncle Clifford? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't be that guy.
Lana said, no, see, you have to ask questions and listen. Oftentimes, people tell you the truth because it's sprinkled within the rep they show you. Nah, women hide a lot, we don't get caught.
And that's, you know what? There's some truth to that. A lot, women are definitely slicker than that.
How to move. I also was told, I don't know because I've never cheated, but I also was told that women tend to cheat during the day, which is less common to get caught than cheating during the night.
Yeah, because women, when they cheat, there's typically like some type of emotional thing going on. I know women don't want to hear that. Well, it's always got to be emotional. It's got to be emotional. You know what I'm saying? Shots fired. But here's the thing. We know more often than not, women, you guys have to be primed first in your mind, typically, before you just willingly give it your body. I understand we're doing like Savage Girl Summer, Hot Girl Summer, Ratchet is me, whatever y'all want, right? So some girls are just throwing up the booty anywhere, right? But at the same time, we still realize that a lot of women, I think in general, tend to want to have some type of a connection with someone before they, lay down with them. So when you think about how women are meeting guys, a lot of times it be that work husband. You know what I'm saying? That's the one they end up messing with. So it happens like right after work or in the middle of the day, or if you're a stay-at-home wife, it's easier. Dudes be so dumb, they want to go out at night and find a random chick to get old-fashioned with. Because a lot of times, they're not trying to actually have a whole relationship. They're just trying to do that one thing. But they want to go about it the same way they did as a single guy. So they trying to go out at night and meet somebody with the fellas. That's why you have men that get into whole arguments with their wives and their girlfriends. Because they gotta have a guy's night out. They have a fella's night out. I just gotta be with the bros. You don't understand. Why are you trying to change me? They're like,
well, look, some people's relationship, that's what they want to do, and you trust.
Hey, do what you want to do. But my thing is, once again, we're talking about if you say something, you gotta mean it. And if you claim to be in a relationship, why are you fighting so hard to relive your single life? Be bored at home. Start a project. Build some stuff in the garage. You want to get away from your wife? Play a video game.
Or
start a series.
You can paint or you can sing.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, everybody needs a break from their significant other. That's cool. But you don't have to go get your break out at Hooters, out at the strip club. You can get your break. You can start building ships inside of bottles. And every time she come in the room, be like, I'm trying to concentrate. I almost got the cell up. All right, almost got the cell up. You need to leave. You know what I'm saying? You get your free time. However you gotta do, you can get your free time, but it don't gotta be out there in a compromising situation where people start thinking, is he really married? Because he says he's married. He's got a ring on his finger that says he's married.
I won't confirm or deny that I'm married now. Gotta look out for the ladies. She's talking about women cheating during the day.
Hey, I mean, it is what it is, man. Ladies be up to their own dirt.
Yeah. So I feel like we've told y'all what it is. I hope that you are a person of integrity that does what they say. You walk it like you talk it like you walk it. Your word is bond, you're loyal, you know how to keep promises. And if for some reason you're not able to keep a promise or your word, you know how to communicate early enough whereas people can accommodate the shift and change that you are evoking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, folks. Hold on, I have one more thing. She said, if you can't stand being around your spouse that much, something is wrong with y'all. Hobbies are your friends. No, I mean, if it's one of those things like your spouse make you sick, yeah, y'all need to be on a therapist's couch. But if you just want some space, you know what I'm saying, you just kind of like, you know, and some of y'all work from home, right? And some of y'all counterparts they talk super loud on video calls. And maybe y'all don't have that much space yet. Y'all don't have that house yet. So it's kind of like, dang, like I feel like you right next to me, but you supposed to be on a video call. You might need to go get, you know, like, you know, you need a hobby. You need some time to like, yeah, go ahead and go to the gym by yourself. Let me just be in here by myself for a little bit. Let me get an hour to myself. Like that's I think that's a real thing. I'm just concerned when people feel like their free time, they need time for them. But sometimes that always includes the boys or the girls, right? If you really need time for yourself, why can't you just go shopping by yourself?
You can go with
Why
a
can't
friend.
you just go? But it's always a friend there.
There's nothing wrong with that. If you and Patty want to go and catch lunch, and that's your homegirl, and she's single, and you want to link with her, or maybe Patty is a married woman, nothing wrong with that.
I get it, but you know, I like listen, like these people that be fighting to go out with Patty. It's one thing to go with Patty for lunch. It's another thing that every Friday night y'all gotta go out together to the club. That's what we talking. I'm talking about those.
I don't know about the club, but like if you and Patty go to lunch every Friday.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, y'all go to lunch. I mean, that's one thing, but look,
you link to walk.
But these folks that got to keep on going out in the club and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Mom said she loved being around her spouse.
No, that was Mamie.
Oh.
No, that's that 30 years of love. You know what I'm saying?
Mamie said she loved.
They call it the rapture of love over there. You know what I'm saying?
Caught up in the rapture of love.
Speaking of music, so you know what I'm saying. On that note, we're gonna get ready to close out. Let me see what I have on the playlist today. You know what I'm saying?
You know that little deepness there.
Yeah, I hear you. Look, y'all, we got to get Kat to sing on Music Monday. Maybe tomorrow I might get her to sing a little bit. I got this condenser mic now, so I might do something so that way we can have her live and singing and have it nice and juicy. Can you read those last two comments for me?
Yes. Mamie says your relationship needs to be intentional so you won't get tired of being around your spouse. Lana said, I stayed wanting to be in a corner alone, and here come Chris. It's hilarious, and now I'm looking for him. That's funny.
That's funny. I mean, look, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be around your spouse. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people want a little break. I get that. Yeah, Matt Martian. You know what I'm saying? You hear that bass? Let me change my angle up real quick. I got this technology moving, y'all. I don't know how to act. So anyways, let's start bringing this in a little bit. Oh yeah, this is Matt Marston's. The song is Can't Believe It off his Going Normal album. Came out early this year. Pretty dope. So we got some shout outs. We want to do a special shout out. We were present to witness this yesterday. Shout out to Shar. Shout out to Chardonnay Wilson and Mike Roy on their engagement. Soon they will be the Roys. I want to call them the Roys already. I had to break that down. But shout out to them. He surprised her in the park. And then we were waiting at their yeah, he did. Hey, Mike, you did a good job, brother. And that rock, hey, kudos to that too. Yeah, you did your thing. Also, we got some birthdays. Shout out to Arlene Altar on her birthday, I think on Tuesday. Shout out to Carl Jennifer. Shout out to my cousin Aya Lauren. Shout out to Ian Pryor. Shout out to my man. Shout out to young Latrice Hill. Also a special heavenly birthday shout out to my cousin Brian Ross. He would have had his birthday on this coming Tuesday. And then also shout out to Reverend Vernon Ware at his birthday. Also some anniversaries. Want to shout out Lauren and Heston Crandon. Want to shout out Ernest and Patricia Myers, Mark and Claudette Proctor, Rodney and Rhonda Walters, James and Joyce Faison also. And then last but not least, I want to, how do I say Chee's husband's last name? I'm gonna butcher that.
I think it's Addis Safo, I think.
A Safo?
I think Addis Safo, maybe.
So they're both Nigerian, and I don't want to butcher their names, and I don't know, and he's French. I don't know.
Yeah, well.
Shout out to them, they just got married today.
And Brittany got married today.
Oh yeah, Brittany got married today down in New Orleans, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, so shout out to those two couples that got married today. Shout out to Black Love. That's what's up. Once again, I want to shout out our business sponsor today, or our business shout out, Church Road Smokehouse. Paul Thompson and them over there at Church Road Smokehouse on IG or Facebook. If you're in the DMV area, get some barbecue. It's amazing. And keep on supporting the Nitty Gritty Show. Y'all already know you can go to squadlocker.com. In the search, you want to type in the Nitty Gritty Show. 4 words. You got to do the whole thing like a Tribe Called Quest. All right. Buy yourself some stuff, some swag. Help us pay for all these subscriptions we got and all this camera equipment and lights and everything. You know what I'm saying? And keep us doing our thing. And some coffee or something for Katrina, so she ain't half asleep on the camera.
I'm not half asleep.
You be like, I ain't gonna lie. And y'all go back and y'all watch the video. Y'all tell me Slim was doing the lean. She was like,
no, I wasn't half asleep today. I'm just mellow today.
Just mellow. Man, she was just watching Beyonce. She's in this mug dancing and carrying. You was dancing at one point.
I was literally on the couch just watching it. Relax.
She's in this mug.
There's nothing wrong with being mellow and being chill. You don't gotta be amped all the time, and that's just where I'm at.
That's why I take a little coffee.
Right now I'm in a vibe. I'm in a vibe right now.
You're in a vibe. That's what we're doing. We're calling it a vibe. You're in a vibe right now. Half sleep right now. No, it's all good. Look, y'all. Thank you guys again for watching. Haven't decided if we're gonna be here for Father's Day. We are? Okay, so no show for Father's Day. That's right. Alright, I knew there was something coming up, so that's why I didn't want to announce. So no show next Sunday for Father's Day, so enjoy your fathers. And people, real quick while I got a little bit of time, don't play the fathers with these lame gifts. Can we get some real gifts for the fathers?
What you want to do?
You know what I'm saying?
What you want?
I mean, you know what I like? I got the specs I like.
What you want?
Like some good food would be nice.
We're going to a barbecue.
Take some barbecue.
To a barbecue.
As far as the gift, I know what I want. I ain't gonna say it on air. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain item in the store I wouldn't mind. How many people are business like that knowing how swagging it is in these streets? You know what I'm saying? I know what I want, and I know Bookie gave it from me. So yeah, y'all call y'all fathers. Tell them Happy Father's Day. I mean, let's make Father's Day a big thing. Like, you know, and I don't want to hear about the ones that ain't doing the job thing. We're talking about the fathers on purpose. It's obvious who we're talking about. So for Father's Day, if they've been doing their job, if they were there, come on, folks. Paying the child support on time, whatever. Do something for your father. Get him a card. Let's do a little bit more than suspenders and a raggedy pair of socks. Fathers are getting tired of just getting underwear for Father's Day. We want real gifts. We want watches. We want frames. We want nice shoes. And we ain't talking about no buddies. We, get some Ferragamo. You know what I'm saying? Get him some red bottoms, you know? Brothers like nice shoes. Some Jordans, if that's what he into. Some really nice, some fly New Balances. Can we do a little better than just, being subpar for Father's Day? Let's make Father's Day a big deal, all right? Because if your father is there, according to social media, fathers don't be doing their job. So if you got one that is, more reason why you should really celebrate him, okay? So Father's Day, can we just go above and beyond? Let's try it. So if you don't know, I'm telling you a week in advance, so tomorrow you can buy your card, because I know you forgot, and you can get it in the mail tomorrow, so that way it actually gets there on time. That would be dope if you guys could do that. That's all I'm saying. And shout out to our new father that's on the page right now, Chris McKinney. Happy Father's Day to you in advance. And shout out to all the fathers that watched today. We really appreciate all you guys. And with that, we about to be out. It's your boy Jay Costa.
It's your girl Katniss.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. We out, y'all. Thank you for joining. We out here.